great match, baby.
You came through for us again.
What's up, people? Crack Lemonade and Crack Lemonade Productions here, and I'm doing a gameplay video, another gameplay video. I don't do these that frequently, but I do play a lot of games, so I'm going to try to do more of these more frequently. Um, Def Jam Fight for New York became 10 years old this year. It was released on September 20th, 2004 on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. I was very nostalgic about this game, and I really loved playing this game when I had it on PS2. And when I was in college, I got rid of my copy of the PS2, my copy for the PS2, as well as my PS2 because I was all hyped about the PS3. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna play the PS2 anymore. I'm on to the next gen. So I got rid of my PS2 and all that. Then later on down the line, a couple years after having the PS2, PS3, I realized what a huge mistake I made, and I've been recollecting for the PS2. But this version of the game is not on PS2. This version of the game is on GameCube. I happened across a copy for a reasonable price at a flea market, and since the game is 10 years old, I wanted to do something. And the original plan was to do a formal review of the game, but my time wasn't used. My time was occupied by different things and different needs, so this kept getting pushed on the back burner. I have it edited, partially edited, and I have the script written out, and I have some of the audio recorded. There's just a little bit more editing that I would need to do in order to complete the review, and there would be some things I would need to record in terms of actual footage of the gameplay that I wanted to include in the game in the review. So there was a lot of work, and basically it just kept getting put on the back burner because I had other things that I was working on and other things that took precedence in my life. So for the sake of me getting back into games and all of this, I just decided to do this. So right now, I'm fighting Crack, Fat Joe, in the main story mode, and this was part of the original review where I was going to talk about the difficulty of this game, because this game can be fairly difficult. But I knew originally in the review, I knew I wouldn't have enough time to kind of show how difficult the game was. So I decided to, like, my original plan was, after a review was released, to do this, like release the video, post it up online, and have some commentary over it, where I talk about, my thoughts on the game, like how I felt at the time when I was playing this. And yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a review of sorts, but it's also just going to show you, I guess, what I felt when I was playing this, the difficulty. Fat Joe in this game is powerful as all get out, and he has a good offense as well as a good defense. His strikes can knock you out, and not only that, if he gets you in that pedigree grapple, it's over because you can't reverse it. So when he does the pedigree, it does a lot of damage. And in that moment, in this moment in the game, I was so pissed because I just had him beat and he reversed it and destroyed it. It's a very back and forth style brawler, which is good. It's good to have the balanced difficulty, and it's good to have something like an opposition. But there were times when I first played through this game, and I already beat the game before I decided to record the gameplay. I specifically went through the story mode again to capture some footage for the review. So I had a little bit more time to get acclimated to the controls and not look like I completely suck at gaming when I was playing this. Even though like I'm getting my ass kicked in this fight for the most part, and I get my ass kicked a few times. And here you see just the back and forth fighting in this game. It's just crazy. So for those of you who may be unfamiliar with Def Jam Fight for New York, it was released in 2004 for the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, and the GameCube, and it was a brawler type game where it's a sequel to Def Jam Vendetta, and instead of on top of what was already established in Def Jam Vendetta, which from what I recall was more of like a wrestling type game, I remember like a little bit more wrestling rings and stuff. It has evolved into more of a Fight Club type thing, and the story is kind of like, it's weird, because without playing the original Def Jam Vendetta, I don't know what kind of things were already established as pertaining to like the characters in relation to the story mode, because the story mode starts off with D-Mob, and I remember D-Mob from the first Def Jam Vendetta, but it starts off with D-Mob getting arrested, and I kind of wonder why. And when I was playing through the story mode, I was always just wondering, like, wasn't D-Mob the villain of the first game? And if he wasn't, then who was? Cause like I just remember him being like the top guy in the game, and yeah, and so yeah, it was just hard for me to get behind in terms of that. But back to the gameplay. As I said, this game can be fairly difficult, and the main reason I wanted to show like the whole of the gameplay footage is that Fat Joe in particular is a fairly difficult opponent, and I would say there are a couple of guys on the roster of Def Jam Fight for New York that kind of are fairly hard to beat, especially when you do like tag matches, or like the free for all 4-way matches, or the free for all 3-way matches. And those characters are along the lines of Sean Paul, who is surprisingly difficult to beat in this game, and I have footage of me facing him, which I may upload at another point. And he has like a more like capoeira-esque style, if you would call it. I don't really know what his style is. Every artist seems to have like their own style, kind of based off of like, I guess it seems like what they like, but it also seems like all the reggae artists, or like all the artists who are from like the islands have like similar fighting styles, and same thing goes with the original characters in the game, who kind of are like the mini bosses before you fight the two main guys from the islands, which are Sean Paul and Elephant Man. And seriously, like when you play against Fat Joe, he is a beast. His main style is wrestling, and I just don't know, like, I don't know what the other styles he has in this game are. It seems like Street Fighter has a heavy influence on his, but he is heavy-handed, and like I said, when he does the pedigree, it takes so much help, and if he gets like repeated of those in, or like a power bomb, it's over. Like if he just keeps doing the pedigree, and then he does like his finisher. And speaking of the finishers, I always thought it was funny, or I think it's funny, that in this game they're like going Super Saiyan while like doing their finishers, and if you miss out on your finisher, the announcer calls it, which kind of breaks the fourth wall in a way. Just because, like, how would the announcer in the game know that you like had your special, or like that you're about to do like a finishing maneuver, or had them on the ropes for a finishing maneuver? And I guess it's that where like the camera pans out, and but like even that doesn't make sense. It's an aesthetic for the game, so like whatever. I need to stop overanalyzing things sometimes and just rock out. I really, overall, in terms of this game, this is a classic, and I really enjoy the game. I haven't played Def Jam Icon. I always hear bad things about it, and there were a couple times where I went to a GameStop, and I think I only attempted to purchase the game from GameStop ever, and they were like, "You don't want to purchase this game." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." "No, you don't." And yeah, I do. So could you let me purchase the game? Like, they would not, like, if I would always buy multiple games with it, just because. But I swear, like, every time I ended up just not buying the game, because it turned into like a long time debate with GameStop cashiers, and it's just like, dude, it's not your job to do that. It's your job to take my money and go on to the next customer. Don't tell me what kind of games I like. Don't tell me what kind of games I don't like. But it never worked out, and I think around the time I wanted to get Icon for the PS3, my PS3 broke, and I didn't have it for like, I would say a year. And then I finally win, and I was happy as all get out. So I leave the cutscene in after this, and I'm just gonna say peace out, guys. Until next time.
Time to celebrate.
Where are we going?
Sorry, sugar. Business.
Don't worry, baby. I'll see you later.